And Madam Garima is coordinating, so I have directed her, sir.
Okay, so just ask Garima to make sure that everybody, whoever is finding it difficult to join, they get the help. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. We'll just wait for another 5 minutes and then we'll begin.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Mr. Mishra, let us start now.
Sir, could I formally start, sir?
Yes, please go ahead. Start it.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Dear Honorable Academicians, I, P.K. Mishra, Additional Director, Construction Industry Development Council, welcome all of you in inauguration and orientation program of AICT Student Learning Assessment Project ASLP. I heartily welcome Colonel B. Venkat, Director AICT, and Dr. P.R. Farooq, Director General Construction Industry Development Council, Member Secretary Engineering Council of India, Member State Planning Board Tripura, Member State Planning Board, Ladakh. And I also welcome Dr. Professor Niranjan Farooq, Director General, Indian Society for Trenchless Technology, and other dignitaries present at this inauguration and orientation program. As we are well aware that AICT, in collaboration with NPIU, National Project Implementation Unit, and Stanford University, had successfully implemented ASLP in the last 3 years on pilot basis, and now, in order to extend the outcomes of the pilot project, AICT has entrusted the program to CIDC in several additional disciplines like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, electronics engineering, computer science and engineering. Now, I request Dr. P.R. Farooq, Director General, Construction Industry Development Council, to formally inaugurate the program and give us the insights of the program. Sir, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mishra, and once again, I welcome all the senior academicians who are here, the teachers who are interested with the responsibility of building the future of the human resources, and especially the young human resources that we have in the nation. There is a serious intent to organize this program and the series of the programs that are going to be following. But this is going to be the priming exercise, and we have to start working on the whole concept very, very clearly. So let me explain this to you. First of all, it is not going to be a kind of a program where we would expect you to go through the PowerPoint presentations and things like that. It is going to be a kind of a discussion and a dialogue between you, me, and the other faculty members who will be running this program. The intent of the program is that we have to understand that all branches of engineering, they ultimately get merged to get a solution for a situation. And it is actually in that direction that this whole program has been designed. And therefore, we are not keeping the silos where you sit as civil engineers only, or mechanical engineers, or electrical engineers, or instrumentation engineers, or any other branch of engineering that you might be specializing in. What we need to look, and that is something which is extremely, extremely important, and that is to understand that engineering does not come in silos. It is basically a kind of a flowing river where to find a solution for a certain problem, we need to basically apply the influences of all branches of engineering that one can possibly conceive of. It involves number of other traits. It involves the elements of managing the project. It involves the kind of regulatory systems which relate to how people deliver and work. And I think this is something that is uppermost in our mind when we are talking about this particular program. We want to break those silos. We want to bring you together as engineers, because it is only the engineers who are the ones who find a solution for a certain problem. And the solutions do not come in a unilinear manner. There is always a kind of multilinear situation. Take for an example, let us start looking at the kind of real life situations that we all encounter almost every day. We all live in houses, and when you construct a house or conceive a house to be constructed, at that point in time, at least there are 5 or 6 specific branches of engineering that will have to be employed there. Without understanding those things, without understanding the nuances, you cannot basically get the full solution of it. You can't go and start telling, like a housewife does, that, oh, I only know how to make dal or how to make roti or how to make sabzi for that matter. The complete meal only comes when you have dal, you have roti, you have sabzi, you have dosa, you have idli, you have sambar or whatever you have. And even to make that sambar, you require a number of specialized number of areas in which you have to work. You cannot have a unilinear situation where you simply put the pulses in the water and allow it to be boiling and get it digestible for that matter. You need to have condiments, you need to have spices, you need to have number of things that might come there. You may have to fry, you may have to roast, you may have to do number of processes. So, what we have to understand that our present day education policy is such, and the structure of the kind of modules that you are teaching to your students is such, where you have a situation where you are talking about the kind of branch specific, the linear kind of solutions. So, let me first of all tell you in this orientation program that we are going to be talking about multilinear situation. You have the basic structure of program in your hand. We will utilize this particular program and use the structure as it has been given to you, but there are going to be lot of divergence for that matter, and there is going to be lot of discussions and question answer sessions and things like that. And the idea is that ultimately we take you out of that small confined space where you are living. We take you to the wider arena and we let you train your students, train your human resources, which is so precious to the country, in the right kind of situations, in the kind of multilinear situations, and several other things for that matter. Now, uh, why it is necessary? That is something which is very much to be understood for that matter. Training, grooming, and basically induction to the other branches or other areas and other disciplines is something which is inherent to the life of a professional. And what we are trying to do here is to build the professionals. In a formal sense, what are we going to be doing during this program? We will deliver the lectures. We will discuss with you about certain, you can say, uh, conglomerated kind of situations that you have, and I'm going to be telling you a couple of them right now, today itself. And ultimately come out with a set of questions, and that is going to be the ultimate deliverable. And these set of questions are going to be utilized for transforming and converting the kind of training modules that you have there. And that is how basically we are going to make our human resources in the country, especially the young boys and girls who come to the portals of our colleges. And I'm sure that you are all wonderful teachers, but then this edge has to be further sharpened, and that is precisely what we are going to be doing now. Look at the kind of national education policy. What exactly the national education policy is aiming at? I'm sure some of you must have gone through that. Those of you who have not gone through, kindly go through that and please try to understand the intent of this policy. It is not simply a documentation that has been prepared by few people sitting in a hall or a room or an outcome of some of the conferences or seminars or workshops that you have had. It has a far more deeper intent that all of us have to understand. And what is the intent? The intent is that we need to start building up the precious human resources that are available in the country so that they are basically put to good use for that matter. I had sent you a set of questions that was almost like about 10 days ago, where I had asked you that please define and please explain to me that how active is your respective institution is. What kind of interactions are you having with the industry? Because this is a common refrain I keep on listening to, and that is that, sir, what can we do? The industry doesn't come forward, industry doesn't tell us what exactly they are looking for. But then, if I were you, I will ask this question to myself. Am I preparing myself and trying to go out and find out what exactly the industry is looking for? So this particular program that we are going to be talking is going to open up the doors for you to start looking at the functioning of various type of industries for that matter, how to basically come out with those questions, because the old axiom still stays. Education comes because we ask questions. And who is the best student for that matter in this world? Believe you me, it is the newborn child. He or she is inquisitive about anything or everything that he or she looks at. They want to know why exactly the things are the way they are. What exactly goes behind them? What is the technology? What is the usage? What is the application? And several other questions. I am sure many of you will be having small children with you. And one of the traits with the normal child always is to keep questioning the parents and whoever comes to them about several things. Now, I would like you for a moment to start thinking like that a small child. Start asking those questions. Start looking into the areas which are the areas of future, which are the areas of fortune. And that is precisely what I would like you to do now in this particular program. I give you two examples and very interesting examples, and we'll be talking in detail about that. Where exactly can we see that our human resources are nicely and usefully utilized? There are two areas I am giving you for your consideration, and the question that comes to you follows. The two areas that I am looking at is the infrastructure development. And when we talk of infrastructure development, believe you me, it is not only the civil engineering or structural engineering that I am talking about. I am talking about the controls, I am talking about uh, electrical engineering, I am talking about subsurface technology, I am talking about GIS technology, I am talking about several other things, because any infrastructure project that you construct, think about it. What kind of specializations that one has to start bringing in there? So these are the kind of things that we have to now start conversing about, start talking about, and start getting out of the mold that we had been living in. There is a set curricula, there is a set syllabi, and this set curricula and syllabi keeps us busy and makes us teach the kind of things which possibly your predecessors some 20 years ago or 30 years ago, they were basically the ones who were teaching and being taught in those things. Probably they were relevant at that point in time, but they may not be exactly relevant at this particular point in time. What are we doing with our youth? India is a very, very young country, as all of you know. And practically every seventh person who lives on this planet comes from India for that matter. We have a huge demographic dividend, huge demographic dividend. Are we not trying to look into the ways and means and the areas and the directions in which we have to take our young students there? How many of our institutions and teachers are really knowing that which are the areas which are of some use, how exactly our students can be groomed in these areas, and so that they can not only look at the kind of jobs, but also start looking at the kind of self-starting ventures. They can become self-starters for that matter. And there are tremendous applications that are needed there. You require this precious human power, not only for the nation, but also for the neighboring nations and even the nations which are far apart and are looking for youth to come in and start doing the things. So that's a very, very onerous responsibility that you have on your shoulders. Understand this and understand the intent. That's the reason why I have taken so much of time to explain to you the intent of this program. I have also told you what is going to be the outcome of this program, what is the deliverable of this program. We will run the lectures, we will talk about it. We are not looking at those fancy looking PowerPoint presentations. We would like you to be familiarized with the kind of things, would give you the references which you can read and understand and start looking at other areas of operation which get related to the core area of operation that you have. And what are you going to be delivering at the end of the day is a set of questions. You will think about it. You will study about these things and you will develop a set of questions. A rough distribution of these type of the questions that you are going to be designing is going to be about 60% which relate to the specific area of specialization that you are in. But 40% are going to be the multiple discipline kind of situations which will have to be brought in there, because ultimately we have to sensitize our young crop to really understand that how exactly the life is going to treat them. Can you please mute yourself, sir? I would request everybody to mute themselves. Keep it as a matter of courtesy for everyone. Thank you. So, what I was telling, that we have to start looking at these questions, because unless you ask the questions, you don't get the answers. I gave you the example of this small child who keeps on asking questions. What exactly this child is doing? He or she is trying to enrich his or her memory bank. He or she is trying to get in as much information as possible. Believe you me, it is the
ಅದರಿಂದ ನೀನ್ ಏನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀಯವ.
Sir, can you please mute yourself? Otherwise, I will request the administrators to remove the person who butts in. Mr. Mishra, kindly tell your assistant to take care of it. Let people not disturb.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So please keep your things on mute. You are supposed to be teachers. You are supposed to be far more disciplined as compared to the students. Don't do that. So this is the kind of line and area that we will be looking at. This is what we are going to be deliberating over the total period of this training that will go on. How will the training go on? Let me tell you. You will have delivery of lectures by the experts. They'll talk about several other things, and many things which are related to, which may not be directly related to your branch of engineering, but we would like to provoke you to start thinking that what exactly is your role. I give you two examples. One, I told you about the infrastructure part of it. The infrastructure is something which encompasses almost all branches of engineering. You start looking at the construction or delivery. I would not use the word construction. I would use the word delivery of an airport. You can imagine as a total solution, you're talking about civil engineering, you're talking about mechanical engineering, you're talking about controls, you're talking about instrumentation engineering, you're talking about the IT-based solutions, and plethora of the things that you have there. Look at the kind of water treatment plant, the sewage plants that you construct. You have a huge amount of chemistry and chemical engineering coming into it, because unless you understand that, you can't possibly get in there. You have other branches of engineering that are put in there. You know how to create the piping, you know how to basically have the control and things like that. So we have to now start looking at this very major area as one of our focus area. The second area, which is even more exciting, and let me tell you, you'll all agree with me. In this nation, which is traditionally known as, you can say, the agro-based economy that we have here. Agricultural economy is something which is of extreme importance. Do you realize that 40% of the agro produce that we have in this country is totally wasted? It is not even lifted from the places where it is grown, because we do not have the storage capacity. We do not have the processing units. We do not have the cold chains. We do not have much of the infrastructure that is needed there. We do not have adequate irrigation facilities there. We do not have a control over the produce, the way it is produced and the way it is sold. The markets are not there. So we have to start looking at this particular area. And believe you me, it is going to be opening up huge gates of opportunity. Who is going to do that? It is ultimately going to be the responsibility of the institutions, of the teachers, and of the young people who are coming out of the portal of these great institutions that we have created. So there is an onerous responsibility that you carry on your shoulder. We have to start looking at such kind of areas. I can rattle off many more for that matter. Going back on agriculture, let me tell you, India is the only country in the world which is so fortunate. And sometimes when you have things in abundance, you don't even bother about them. That's our tyranny. That's the problem that we have. There are 32 agroclimatic zones that exist in our country. 32 agroclimatic zones. There is no conceivable agro item that we do not produce and we cannot produce. But do we know about that? We have huge agro wealth. But do we know about that? We do not know about it. Why would we not have a situation where there are extensive usage and application of GIS, where we start using the UAVs, where we start taking the stock of the things that we have there? Who's going to do all those things? It is going to be the technical manpower that you will be preparing. And believe you me, we still have such kind of people available in the country being taught through informal means. But now we have to start converting the whole thing into a formal mode. And that is something that we have to start looking at. So there is going to be a lot of discussions. I would call them discussions. They are not lectures. We would like to have number of questions coming from you. After today's program, I am giving you off for one day. Tomorrow, each one of you, whoever has joined the program and those who could not join it, because the total tally that I have is close to about 300 and I can see about 104 people are here at this moment. So we would definitely get in touch with others and ask them this very blunt question that why have they not joined this particular program? They must join it right from the beginning, and I would need a set of 10 questions along with their answers coming from each one of you to my secretariat. And for every day's lecture, you will create 10 questions and their answers and send it to me. You will look at the distribution of the topic of the courses that you are questions that you are making. Let these questions be not simple copies of the textbooks that you may have or any reference books that you may have. This has to be 100% your own indigenous creation. And that is what is basically going to give the spice and salt to this particular program. So every day of speech, and it begins today, that you have to create 10 questions and their answers. Those who do it more, wonderful. I would love them. We have also decided that this set of questions, when fully compiled, this can be utilized to formulate the policy as to how do we design our course curricula, syllabi, and then accordingly take our students through that particular route. But to do that, you will have to do a lot of studying yourself. So my suggestion is that from today itself, please start on these two areas that I have given you, infrastructure and agriculture. Start studying that. Put your hands on any material that is available. I know Google is filled with such kind of information. You can always go through the whole thing. Read, make questions. Read, make questions. Try to put the answers at your end. And that is precisely what I am looking at. That is going to be a deliverable. Let me tell you something. Way back, almost 52 years ago, I had gone to study my engineering at IIT Kanpur. And this was the time when computer sciences was almost like unknown throughout the country. As a matter of fact, we used to have the first generation IBM computer, IBM 1420 in my campus. And that was a matter of great pride. The professor who did his PhD from one of the finest universities in United States was teaching us computer sciences. And how exactly the teaching went? There were no books available. Absolutely no books available. No text material was available. But computer sciences was something which was considered to be one of the most important areas that each branch of engineering would have to learn. When I look at the old computer, there is nothing to talk home about. It was very, very analogous computer where we had to punch the cards. I don't know how many of you have done that. We have to punch the card, design the program, and then put it through the computer, and that would do the computation. They were simple computations. And what were we using this for? This was for data processing. This was basically to help out the state administration to really get a lot of answers for a lot of questions that they had. It was to compile the surveys that were conducted by them. None of this was actually connected with engineering, but it was a solution that was needed, and that's where basically the experts in computer sciences were being created. How exactly were we taught? And I would like to follow the same model here. It was so simple. The professor will basically prepare certain notes, deliver a lecture, and we, the students, were supposed to be making detailed notes out of the lecture that the professor had given. And every week, we were supposed to be handing over our notes to the professor. The professor will look at that, and one of the substantial part of our grading that used to come from the quality of the notes that were prepared. Because it was those notes which told the professor whether we have really understood it or not. This got repeated for many other branches which were very, very new branches at that point in time. Material sciences, for an example. Same situation existed there also. The professor came, he started delivering the lectures, we kept the notes, and we used to go back and give the notes to them. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it was those notes with due acknowledgement to the students which came out as the textbook for the future generations to come. You are going to be writing that very history as far as this program is concerned. This will open the gates for many new areas, many new avenues. This will give you an opportunity to interact with the industry, to talk to them and find out that what are the areas that are needed where the stress has to be given. We'll take you through this. I want to make this program absolutely successful. That's the whole idea. Therefore, I am going to be spending substantial time on this particular program myself. I will be one of the speakers, the lead speakers in this program. You will see me in every lecture. The lectures will be followed by deliberations where we would like to listen from all of you. And it is going to be a daily affair. The program will be conducted one day. There will be a gap of a day so that you can do your homework. And the next day, we again go back, discuss the whole thing, talk about the kind of nuances of some particular areas, come back, react on the questions that you have made, and also the notes that you have made. And it starts from now, which means that all that I had been speaking is all being recorded. It is all going to be available. We are going to be putting it on the YouTube or wherever. You can go through this, make notes, and the day after, come back with your notes. Because I would like this model to be frozen, to be firmed up, and this has to be utilized for the sake of those who have not been able to join this program. When we discussed with the All India Council for Technical Education, they designed the whole thing in a manner where the 60 candidates can participate in one module. But I had deliberately expanded it, and I said I am opening it to everyone, whoever wishes to come. I do not wish to basically create barriers and walls. I don't mind if there are 600 people coming in there. If I am able to convert my teachers who are able to convert their students, who are able to get on to the kind of real things in life, I think the purpose and the objective of this particular program is fully achieved. And that, my friends, is what we are going to be achieving. You are all going to be my partners in this. I would like you to participate vigorously. And another message that I would like to give you, and a very clear message, that those of you who have not been able to join, or those of you who know those who have not been able to be aware about this particular program, please let them know. I would like to have them as many as possible. I don't want a limited number of people. Education for me is not an elitist idea. Education for me is something which must be made available to anyone and everyone. We do not know where exactly the nuggets of wisdom are. And one good set of questions can definitely provoke everyone who's going to be designing a fantastic syllabi, curricula, and of course, change the course content and material that you are utilizing, so that we are able to achieve the ultimate objective of having the fantastic human resource that we have to be made extremely, extremely useful. And if we are able to do that, we have achieved it. We will be talking about number of specific technologies. We are not going to be teaching you in details. It is not going to be a normal lecture like it is elsewhere. It is just to kind of expose. It is just to kind of provoke you. It is just to tell you that you need to start looking into this direction also. Once you get the right direction, believe you me, you'll be able to reach your destination. That is something that I would like to have coming from you. So let us basically have this particular program, look at the composite solutions, look at various nuances of various type of activities that are around us, so that tomorrow we can justify that all of us are engineers. And engineers are those who are basically utilizing ingenuity, coming out with the solutions which are genuine solutions, using the fundamentals, the first principles, as my teachers used to tell me. What is the objective? The objective is to deliver something. And to deliver that, You need to have knowledge on multiple bases. You may not be an expert, but at least you will have an idea as to whether you are moving in the right direction or not. And when you get into that quest, you start looking at the kind of things which are going to make this whole program so very meaningful. So I'm so happy to see as many of you as who could make it today. And I believe Colonel Venkat is here from All India Council for Technical Education. May I request Colonel Venkat also to say a few things so that all our friends are able to listen to his views and the kind of concept and philosophy that we are working on. Colonel Venkat, please. Colonel Venkat, are you there?
Very much, sir. Very good evening to you, sir, and thanks a lot.
I was longing to hear your sweet voice, Colonel.
Sir, pleasure, absolutely, sir. It's an honor and pleasure that you bestow, sir, that you bestow on these activities, and sir, my thanks to you first of all, sir, for giving me a chance to be speaking. I sincerely need to be thanking CIDC and the complete staff headed by Dr. Swaroop, sir, phenomenal in itself. Dr. Swaroop, sir, if I start speaking about yourself, I think I will overrun the adjectives and vocabulary that I would be having with me. But I'll come straight to the point, sir. Your initiative of taking on this particular activity to make our faculty members that much more connected with the industry, number one, that much more capable and align themselves to the needs of the industry and then go on to carry out a change in their workplace. I think, sir, is something which is going to be hugely appreciated by each one of the faculty members who are connected today. I also, in addition to what Swaroop sir said, I also would like to once again just emphasize sir's point only. In case if a person who doesn't have time, look at Dr. Swaroop. Sir, in spite of his busy schedule, has volunteered that he will be there in every session. He will be there throughout. Please make use of this opportunity which has come your way. You are not going to get opportunity like this in which the industry people, and that too one of the most reputed industrialists, come towards you and tries to teach you how an industry functions and what are the necessities and requirements of industry. Please make sure that you people remain connected, attentive, listen to the finer details which are being spoken, and then please put it into practice at your respective workplaces. If need be, ask as many queries, doubts you have. Very good to hear from Dr. Swaroop again that this program is going to be an interactive kind of a program. That is again something which is going to be a unique hallmark of this program. Please make sure that you are the one who go back a learned person. Already be rest assured that the resource people who are going to get connected with you will be one of the finest and one of the most reputed people who will be coming and speaking. The more you listen to them, the more you talk to them, it is in your own interest. Dr. Swaroop sir, AICT wishes each one of you the best to commence this particular activity. Our Honorable Vice Chairman, Professor MP Punia sir, will surely be connected. He will be connected towards the valedictory of the event. He has given his blessings to go ahead with this particular program, and we look forward to faculty members coming back enriched from this activity. And my again request, extension of the point of Dr. Swaroop once again, all those who could not get connected or all those who are still willing to get connected, please get them on board. This is the only time that this initiative of this nature, wherein AICT is taking the initiative of connecting of like-minded industrialists, and mind you, AICT's role in this is very minimal. It is a whole initiative taken by CIDC led by Dr. Swaroop. We are just a party to that, and we are deeply grateful to each and everybody who has come forward, sparing their time to make sure that our education system benefits. Our education system can only benefit if we have people who are ready or willing to give their best. Willing people can only give their best, but it is for the faculty members to imbibe and take the best from them. We will be having 4 more programs after this. This is a series of 5 faculty development programs. We will be doing sensitization for these webinars. I would be requesting through the August gathering who has connected here today, please sensitize this, please spread the awareness, please make sure people do connect. It's after all, end of the day, this benefits each one of us. And yes, the ultimate aim of this program being that each one of you should be writing certain bit of questions in a multiple choice format, when MCQs is basically nothing but multiple choice questions. And once you people give multiple choice questions, the utility of these questions also is something which you people should understand. These questions are going to be utilized towards the assessment of our fellow faculty members and students. This is going to be included in the one-stop portal activity of AICT called as AICT Parak. And once we include it there, appreciate also the fact that it's going to be larger benefit for the students towards making them employable. And mind you that there is a buzzword nowadays that we do not talk of making students employable. We talk of making our students capable for them to generate employment. So there are a whole lot of activities happening towards this. This particular faculty development program surely and undoubtedly takes the lead. Let's together make it successful. Let's together make it one of the most reliable and talked about program. And Swarup sir, be rest assured from AICT anything. I'm very well aware that we cannot offer to the best people anything from our side, but still, if you feel AICT can be of any help or assistance, sir, it will be our honor to be connected with you in delivering these kind of programs for many more fellow faculty members. On behalf of AICT, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, the Honorable Chairman, Professor MP Punia, the Vice Chairman, Professor Rajiv Kumar, the Honorable Member Secretary, I, Colonel Venkat, Director of Faculty Development, wish each one of you a great success, a great beginning, and let us together, like I said, let us together work towards a common cause, and the common cause happens to be improving the overall structure. Thank you. Thanks a lot to everybody. And once again, Swarup sir, thank you for giving me the chance to speak. I'm honored to be connected in this platform. Best wishes to you, sir, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Colonel Saab. And of course, before I bid you Jai Hind, I must tell this thing that well begun is half done. We have started the things today, and I'm absolutely certain that all my friends are going to be together in it with me. And before we close, there is a very interesting story which just came to my mind, and I thought we all must share it. And this will tell you the essence of the thing in just this small story that I'm going to give you. It was a story about before the white men had put their feet in what we call as Americas today, the United States, the Canada, and places like that. And there were tribes who used to live there. And here was this tribe which was very good, which was prosperous, which was very happy. And they knew three things which they did. The first thing was that there was a stream that used to flow around their settlement, and in that stream there were fishes. So they will basically be able to catch hold of these fishes with the bare hands. The second thing they knew was that there was a tiger, and this tiger was very big menace for the society. So what they learned was to make the kind of fire rings that you had. And they used to call him Sawtooth Tiger. And the story is actually having, the title is Sawtooth Tiger Curricula actually. Okay, so this was the second thing. And the third thing they knew was that there were woolly horses that used to come around. And they knew how to catch hold of the hair of the woolly horses and ride the horses and use them for transportation and loading, unloading, and conveying their stuff. So the tribe was doing very well. They had plenty of food. They were basically using the horses. And then, of course, the tiger was warded off because they knew how to make the fire rings. And everything was going hunky-dory. But then the life is more cruel than that. and things started changing. The fishes knew that even the young people, they can catch hold of it. And while these things were happening, they decided that now these are the three things for our survival. So we need to create a place called university, and we need to create something which is the curricula, and the curricula must have these three things there. And let us train our young people by the experts who know how exactly to do all the three things. Obviously, you had different kind of people doing that. They were called professors, and that is what you are. They were called professors, and the university continued working, the professors continued working, and they said, let us have a grand name for the curricula. So they called it Sawtooth Tiger Curricula, and that is how Sawtooth Tiger Curricula came in. But then the life changes. The fishes knew how to hide in the crevices. So the supply of fishes got dwindled down. The woolly horses realized that even the small kids are able to catch hold of us. So they also ran away. And instead, the mules came in. Mules never had any hair. So the tribe was finding it very difficult to catch hold of the mules. And the third menace that came, that Sawtooth Tiger decided that there's no point troubling these people because I don't get my food here, and they know how to make the fire rings, and even the 7-year-old guys, they are also able to do this thing so beautifully. So therefore, he left the place, and instead the bears came in. And bears were not scared about those fire rings. Now the tribe was very much worried. But the university continued. The Sawtooth Tiger curricula continued. The professors continued teaching. And even the supply was dwindled. They made some mock models, and they used to teach the students how to create the fire rings and how to catch hold of woolly horses. And they had half a dozen woolly horses, and the students used to practice on them. And then the fishes were being caught with the hand in a artificially made pond and things like that. Now, then the tribe sat down once again, and the council of the tribe was, they said that we have three options. One, we don't do anything, then we don't survive. Second, we do something, we do not know what. And the third thing is that we move out of this place and go elsewhere. The tribe totally rejected the third option. They said, we do not know. Whichever new place that we go to, we won't be able to be confident whether some new kind of animal comes there or some horses come or don't come. So what do we do? So they caught hold of few people, and as the luck would have it, some of them were, well, kind of like me. And they sat down and they started finding the solutions. So they said, okay, we have vines here. Let us make the net out of vines and let us start putting it at the mouth of the stream so that the fishes automatically go there and get entangled. And that's how the supplies of the fishes got normalized and everything was back to normal. They were able to get their food. For the bears, what they did was they dug some pits and they put some stakes there and covered it with the leaves. And when the bears came, they fell down and then they killed the bear. They skinned him so that they got the skin, which served as their clothes or garments. And of course, the meat was there which they ate. So additional food supply also came in. And for the mules, they created lassos using the same vines. They made ropes out of that and created lassos. And that's how the problem of transportation also was solved. It was at that point in time that somebody went from this group, which was called as industry, and told the professors that right time that you should change your curricula. Let us have the new stuff coming in. And let us basically start teaching our kids these three things, new things. You know what happened? That precisely is what is happening in our academic world. The professors and the people who were running the university, they said education is sacrosanct. You can't go and start messing up with education. You go and start teaching the people in addition to what we are teaching, our curricula will continue like that. So Sawtooth Tiger curricula continued. I want you to understand that we are at the cusp. We are at a situation where things have to change. And you are all going to be change agents. Work with me. Work with other experts. Let's try to show the world that we are really engineers. We have ingenuity, and that is something that we do. With that, Colonel, thank you so much for staying behind and listening to this story. And I hope this story must be told and retold many times. And that should be the essence of the whole thing. We are in the process of changing sawtooth tiger curricula. That is going to be the ultimate objective. God bless us all. Let us be successful in this endeavor. Thank you very much, All India Council for Technical Education, for having this kind of a confidence in us. Believe you me, we are not going to fail, and none of you are going to fail me. That is another promise. Because at the end of the day, I am one of the oldest persons sitting here, if not the oldest. And they call me an old fuddy-duddy who follows the old methods of administration and teaching, and you will find my old teachers coming out of me, and there are plenty of them. As a matter of fact, something which makes me so proud that it is only my teacher who taught me chemistry. He happens to be one of the only academicians who is the recipient of Bharat Ratna Award. I am talking about Dr. C.N.R. Rao. He taught me chemistry in first year, and it was a great pleasure to learn from him what Dr. Linus Pauling taught him. So let us basically go around, keep up the tradition, because after another 10 years, you must find your students coming out and saying that we are so proud that we had such and such as our teacher who changed and transformed the life that I have today, who changed and transformed the way we work in this country. So on that happy note, I think I'll now say Jai Hind to all of you, and it is a matter of great pride. Let us have larger number of people coming there. Whoever has missed today's program, they all have to undergo to spend time to have a look at the recording of this particular program so that they are fully able to understand the philosophy, the idea, and the effort that is being made. Thank you so much. Mr. Mishra, you can conclude by thanking everybody.
Yes, sir. Thanks to all, and special thanks to you on enlightening us about the program and about the learning and teaching of the academia interaction with industry and the need of the hours. I also very grateful to Colonel Venkat for giving us the great opportunity to interact with the academia, having a very nice and excellent purpose. And we are very thankful, grateful to all the academicians who have joined this program and interested to join the future courses and the series. Really, we are very thankful and expecting that in the next sessions, due to all other constraints, they will join our program. Thanks a lot to all of you again. Thank you.
Mr. Mishra, I have few questions that are coming in here, and let me tell you, tomorrow there is no class. Tomorrow is the time for you to do your homework. You will be preparing a summary note of today's session and design 10 questions and their answers and sending it to me. That is what you are going to be doing tomorrow. It is going to be day after tomorrow that the next session will begin. So we will have it like this. We'll run the program for one day. We'll give a gap of a day. And then after that, we go for the next day for that matter. Okay. The recordings are all going to be available. But in order to get the certificate of participation, let me tell you, we have to make sure that we fulfill these conditions. And those of you who have not answered to my questions in the first place, the office order that was issued, are once again advised that they should immediately answer those questions and send it back to the secretariat. Please do that. Let's get on there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.